What if the food you believe is giving you strength is silently dismantling your foundation? A subtle poison disguised as nourishment, chosen out of habit, not awareness. Most people will only hear the list of foods. 99% will miss the final chapter on how to choose, which is the key to transforming knowledge into wisdom. Without this, the information remains a useless map, showing you a treasure you can never find. Understanding structure. Before we can speak of rebuilding, we must first understand what it is we are building. We speak of muscle, but this word has been colored by the vanity of youth. We see it as a thing for appearance, for show. This is a shallow understanding. After the age of 60, muscle is not about vanity. It is about dignity. It is about freedom. It is the physical manifestation of your will in the world. It is the difference between standing tall and being stooped, between walking freely in nature and being confined to a chair, between lifting your grandchild and merely watching others do so. It is the very structure of your independence. To let it disappear is to let your world shrink. We believe the fight against this disappearance is a simple matter of consuming protein. We are told to eat more, to add a scoop of powder here, an extra egg there. This is like telling a temple builder that all he needs is more stone. But what if the stone is of poor quality? What if it crumbles under pressure? What if he has the stone but lacks the mortar to bind it or the plans to place it correctly? The body is not a simple furnace that burns fuel. It is a complex and intelligent system that requires not just raw materials, but the right materials in the right combination, delivered in a way that it can actually use. This is the concept of synergy. This is the wisdom that is so often missed. The modern approach to nutrition is one of isolation. We break food down into its components. This much protein, this much fat, this many vitamins. We treat the body like a machine, a chemical equation to be solved. But the body is not a machine. It is an ecosystem. It is a garden. In a garden, the soil, the water, the sunlight, and the plants all work together in an inseparable dance. You cannot nourish one without considering the others. The food we seek is not one that provides a single nutrient in isolation, but one that provides a symphony of nutrients that work in harmony, that understand the language of our biology. This requires a profound shift in how we view nourishment. We must move from a mindset of how much protein to one of what is the quality of this life force. We must ask not only what a food contains, but how it was created, what environment it came from, and what other supporting nutrients it brings with it. This is the path of discernment. It is the difference between being a passive consumer of dietary advice and an active, conscious steward of your own physical temple. The surprising food we will discuss is not a magic bullet. It is an embodiment of this principle of synergy. It is a teacher disguised as a humble meal that can show us a more intelligent, more harmonious way to preserve the very structure of our being. The common misconception? For decades, the egg has been held up as the gold standard of protein, the perfect, self-contained meal, especially for starting the day. And in many ways, this is not wrong. The egg is a marvel of nature, a good source of protein and many nutrients. It is a reliable stone for the temple builder, but to rely solely on this one type of stone, to believe it is the only or the best answer, is to build with a limited understanding. The path of wisdom is to recognize the good, but to remain open to the possibility of the better, the more complete. As the needs of our temple change with the seasons of life, so too must our choice of materials become more refined, more strategic. The egg provides protein, yes, but we must look deeper. For many, as the digestive fire becomes more gentle with age, eggs can be heavy, they can be congesting, they can contribute to a state of inner dampness and stagnation. Furthermore, the quality of the egg is entirely dependent on the life of the chicken that laid it. An egg from a factory-farmed bird, raised in a cage under artificial light and fed a diet of medicated grain, is a world away from the egg of a bird that has roamed freely on pasture, eating greens and insects. The information, the energy contained within these two eggs is profoundly different. One speaks of stress and confinement, the other speaks of vitality and freedom. To ignore this distinction is to build with stones of unknown origin and questionable integrity. Moreover, the egg, even at its best, is only one part of the puzzle. It provides the protein, but what about the other crucial elements needed to fight muscle loss and preserve the vitality of the entire system? What about the powerful anti-inflammatory agents needed to quell the chronic low-grade inflammation that accelerates muscle breakdown? What about the specific nutrients needed to ensure that our bones, the very frame upon which the muscles are built, remain strong and dense? The egg is a good soloist, but what we need now is an orchestra. We need a food that brings with it not just the protein, but a host of synergistic players that work together to address the complex challenges of aging. To forget eggs is not to demonize them. It is an invitation to graduate your understanding. It is to acknowledge their utility, but to recognize that a more powerful, more complete, more harmonious solution exists. It is to be willing to set aside a familiar habit in the pursuit of a deeper wisdom. The familiar is comfortable, but true growth, true preservation often lies just beyond the borders of our comfort. We are not looking for a replacement for the egg's protein. We are looking for a food that accomplishes what the egg does, and then so much more. We are looking for a source of nourishment that understands that muscle does not exist in isolation, but is part of an interconnected web of bone, brain, and fire, and that to support one, you must support them all. The hidden gem, the food we seek, is humble. It is often overlooked, relegated to the back of the pantry, associated with times of scarcity rather than with vibrant health. It comes from the deep, cold waters of the ocean. It is the small silver fish, the sardine. To the undiscerning eye, it is merely a canned fish. But to the eye that understands the principle of synergy, it is one of the most perfect and potent foods on the planet for preserving the structure and vitality of the aging body. It is the entire orchestra in a single small container. It is a profound lesson in how nature, in its wisdom, packages nourishment. First, let us speak of the protein. Sardines are a powerhouse of high-quality, easily digestible protein. These are the stones for the temple walls, readily available and of the highest quality. But this is just the beginning. Unlike a simple egg, the sardine brings with it an immense supply of the omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. If chronic inflammation is the smoldering fire that silently consumes your muscle tissue, these omega-3s are the cooling, healing rain. They are among the most powerful anti-inflammatory agents found in nature. To consume sardines is not just to provide building blocks for muscle. It is to actively protect the muscle you already have from this inflammatory fire. This is a crucial distinction. It is a two-pronged approach, building and protecting simultaneously. But the symphony continues. The sardine is eaten whole. You consume the tiny, edible bones. And in these bones is a wealth of highly bioavailable calcium. This is not the chalky, isolated calcium from a supplement. It is organic calcium in its natural matrix. But what good is calcium without the means to use it? Nature has solved this. Sardines are also one of the few natural food sources of vitamin D. Vitamin D is the master architect that tells the body how to use the calcium, how to draw it from the blood and deposit it into the bone matrix. To consume sardines is to consume both the raw material for your bones, calcium, and the instructions on how to use it, vitamin D. You are not just preserving your muscle, you are strengthening the very frame that your muscle is built upon. A strong muscle on a weak frame is a house built on a crumbling foundation. The sardine understands this. It nourishes the whole structure. And there is more. These small fish are a rich source of vitamin B12, essential for energy and nerve function. They provide selenium, a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from damage. They provide phosphorus, another key mineral for bone health. They are low on the food chain, meaning they do not accumulate the heavy metals like mercury that are a concern with larger predatory fish. They are, in essence, a perfectly designed nutritional delivery system. They offer a level of synergistic completeness that a simple egg or even a piece of chicken cannot begin to match. This is not a man-made supplement. This is the intelligence of nature offered up in a humble silver package. Beyond muscle, the wisdom of the sardine extends far beyond the preservation of muscle. To focus only on muscle is to miss the deeper gift of this remarkable food. The body is not a collection of separate parts, but a unified whole. What benefits one system will inevitably benefit the others. The same nutrients that preserve your physical strength are also working in other equally vital realms of your being. The sardine is a master of this holistic nourishment. Consider your brain. The brain is composed of roughly 60% fat, and a huge portion of that is the omega-3 fatty acid DHA. This is the very substance of your thoughts, your memories, your consciousness. As we age, maintaining cognitive clarity is as important, if not more so, than maintaining physical strength. The DHA in sardines directly feeds the brain. It maintains the fluidity and integrity of your neural cell membranes, allowing for swift and clear communication between neurons. It helps to protect the brain from inflammation, which is now understood to be a major driver of cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases. To eat sardines is to lubricate the machinery of your mind. It is an act of preserving not just your body, but your very self, your personality, your wisdom accumulated over a lifetime. Consider your heart and your circulatory system. This is the river of life that flows through your entire kingdom, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. The health of this river is paramount. The omega-3 fats in sardines are profoundly beneficial for cardiovascular health. They help to lower triglycerides, reduce blood pressure, prevent the formation of arterial plaques, and maintain a regular heart rhythm. They make the blood less sticky, allowing it to flow more freely. The calcium and vitamin D also contribute to the health of the blood vessels. To nourish your body with sardines is to ensure that the river of life flows cleanly and without obstruction, keeping the entire landscape of your body fertile and vibrant. Consider your bones. We have already spoken of the perfect synergy of calcium and vitamin D. As we age, the fear of a fall, of a fracture, can become a prison. It can limit our activities and shrink our world. Building and maintaining strong, dense bones is a cornerstone of maintaining our freedom and our confidence. The sardine provides the exact combination of nutrients needed for this task in a form the body can readily use. It is a more intelligent, more complete approach to bone health than simply taking an isolated calcium pill, which can be difficult for the body to utilize correctly without its synergistic partners. The sardine provides the entire team of workers, not just a single pile of bricks. By strengthening the frame, it allows the muscle to do its job with confidence. It builds a temple that is strong from its deepest foundation to its highest spire. The inner practice. To receive the full benefit of this nourishment, the act of eating must become an inner practice. For many, there is a resistance to the sardine. The taste is strong, the smell is distinct, the texture is unfamiliar. This resistance is a valuable teacher. It is an opportunity to practice discernment over preference. The tongue, conditioned by a lifetime of bland and sugary foods, may initially object. But the deeper wisdom of the body, if you listen closely, will recognize the profound nourishment being offered. To choose the sardine is to choose biological wisdom over fleeting sensory pleasure. It is a mature choice. The practice begins with selection. Choose sardines packed in olive oil or water, not in inflammatory vegetable oils. Look for those in cans that are BPA-free. This is your first act of discernment. When you open the can, take a moment, look at the small fish, acknowledge the life that was given. This is not just a product, it was a living being, a manifestation of the ocean's energy. This moment of gratitude changes the nature of the act. It shifts it from consumption to communion. The ways to consume them are simple as they should be. Simplicity is a hallmark of true nourishment. They can be eaten directly from the can. They can be mashed with a fork, mixed with a little lemon juice, and spread on a piece of high-quality toast. They can be tossed into a salad, providing a burst of flavor and a wealth of nutrition. There is no need for complex recipes or heavy sauces that would only mask their nature and burden your digestion. The goal is to receive their gift as directly as possible. Aim to incorporate them into your diet 2 to 4 times per week. This consistency is what creates lasting change. It is the steady, repeated delivery of these key nutrients that allows the body to truly rebuild its stores and shift its internal environment away from inflammation and towards repair. See this not as a chore, but as a discipline, a ritual of self-care. It is a quiet commitment you make to your own vitality. It is a moment in your week where you consciously choose the path of synergistic, intelligent nourishment. Over time, you may find that your palate changes. You may begin to crave the strong, savory taste as your body begins to associate it with the feeling of well-being, clarity, and strength that follows. This is the body's wisdom aligning with your conscious choice, true foundation. In the end, this journey is not truly about sardines versus eggs. That is merely the entry point, the specific example that illustrates a much deeper principle. The true foundation we are seeking to build is not made of any single food. It is a foundation of wisdom. It is the cultivation of a new relationship with food, with your body, and with the process of aging itself. It is about moving from a state of passive fear to one of active, conscious stewardship. The sardine is a teacher, but the lessons it teaches are universal. The first lesson is nutrient density. We must seek foods that offer the most nourishment for the least amount of digestive effort. As our digestive fire becomes more refined, we can no longer afford to waste its energy on foods that are voluminous but empty. The sardine is the epitome of nutrient density. Every bite is packed with life-sustaining power. This principle should guide all our food choices. The second lesson is synergy. We must move beyond the isolated thinking of single nutrients and seek foods that provide a complete, harmonious orchestra of nourishment. Nature does not package nutrients in isolation, and we should be wary of foods that do. The sardine, with its perfect blend of protein, fats, vitamins, and minerals, is a masterclass in synergy. We should seek this quality in everything we eat. The third lesson is purity of source. We must understand that the energy and health of the food we eat is a direct reflection of the environment it came from. A wild fish from a clean ocean is fundamentally different from a factory-farmed animal. We must choose foods that come from a place of vitality, not from a place of stress and contamination. The fourth lesson is respect for the whole. The wisdom of eating the whole sardine, flesh, bones, and all, reminds us that true nourishment is found in completeness, not in picking and choosing the most palatable parts. This is a profound principle that extends beyond food. It is about embracing the whole of life, the whole of ourselves, with respect and understanding. When you internalize these principles, you no longer need lists of good and bad foods. You develop your own inner compass. You can look at any food and discern its quality, its energy, its potential to either build or dismantle your temple. This is true nutritional freedom. This is the wisdom that will serve you for the rest of your days, long after you have forgotten the specifics of any single piece of advice. The path of aging is a path of refinement. It asks us to let go of the crude and embrace the subtle. It asks us to listen more deeply, to choose more consciously. The disappearance of muscle is not a curse to be feared, but a messenger that calls us to this deeper practice. By answering that call, by choosing foods and practices that are rooted in wisdom and synergy, we do more than just preserve our physical strength. We cultivate a resilience of spirit, a clarity of mind, and a deep, abiding peace that is the true treasure of a life well lived. Which of the four principles, nutrient density, synergy, purity of source, or respect for the whole, feels most absent from our modern way of eating, and why?